Anthropic has just announced a new feature for Claude called Skills, and it could be actually kind of a big deal when it comes to our future. Welcome back to another AI Daily Brief Headlines edition, all the daily AI news you need in around 5 minutes, and we have a jam-packed edition today. We're kicking off today with a story that I think I will probably try to do a more operator's cut style episode as people dig in and figure out how to use these tools in the coming weeks. But for now, it's rolled out a new feature called Skills, which provides agents with instructions, scripts, and resources to help them with specific tasks. Users can fill a folder with these skills that might cover things like brand guidelines or instructions on carrying out a task in Excel. The feature also allows users to provide executable code for situations where traditional programming is more reliable. Claude agents can then draw from these skills when they become relevant to the task at hand. Essentially, skills are little barrels or buckets of context that Claude can draw on when it makes sense. They're in a standard format that can be used across Claude apps, Claude Code, and the API, meaning you only have to build them once. Said Anthropic staffer Mahesh Marag, skills are based on our belief and vision that as model intelligence continues to improve, we'll continue moving towards general-purpose agents that often have access to their own file system and computing environment. The agent is initially made aware only of the names and descriptions of each available skill and can choose to load more information about a particular skill when relevant to the task at hand. Now, part of the benefit here is that this makes the method token efficient. Claude agents can initially use very basic tools to figure out which skills they need for a given task and only spend significant tokens once it knows which ones to load. They also function sort of like custom agentic scaffolding, but in a much more modular and user-friendly package. A user doesn't need to know any programming language to create a custom skill that's fit for their purpose, which of course dramatically lowers the barrier to entry for advanced agent design. You can also prompt Claude to design its own skills, with the example that they give saying, "Help me create an image editor skill." Claude can also help then refine human design skills or monitor common failure points and then build skills to mitigate them. Basically, Claude can be leveraged to collaborate on its own agentic design. Skills are also stackable. So by way of example, Anthropic discussed an agentic workflow for building a quarterly investor deck, where the agent would be able to tap into the company's brand guidelines skill, a financial reporting skill, and a presentation formatting skill, coordinating all three without the need for manual intervention. People very quickly picked up that this is sneakily a big deal. Daniel Meisler wrote, "Something I want to stress today. MCP changed everything, but not because of a model improvement. And today, skills change everything, but not because of a model improvement. AI systems are the thing to watch, not just the intelligence of the models. People are useful in jobs because they connect dots and can do many different things. That's what Anthropic has been doing here, building a unified system that connects dots." Simon Willison discussed in his blog how skills are awesome and maybe a bigger deal even than MCP, which is of course in bold words. First, he described what skills are. He said that conceptually they're extremely simple. They're a markdown file telling a model how to do something, optionally accompanied by extra documents and pre-written scripts that the model can use to help it. However, he writes, there's one extra detail that makes this a feature, not just a bunch of files on disk. At the start of a session, Claude's various harnesses can scan all available skill files and read a short explanation for each one. This is very token efficient. Each skill only takes up a few dozen extra tokens, with the full details only loaded in should the user request a task that the skill can help solve. He discussed how he would build a data journalism agent using the feature. The skills that he would build were things like how to access and parse census data, how to load data from SQL and DuckDB with associated Python code provided, how to publish data online, and how to figure out an interesting story to tell based on the data. Simon concluded, "The core simplicity of the skills design is why I'm so excited about it. Skills are marked down with a tiny bit of YAML metadata and some optional scripts in whatever you can make executable in the environment. They feel a lot closer to the spirit of LLMs, throw in some text and let the model figure it out. They outsource the hard parts to the LLM harness and the associated computer environment. Given everything we have learned about LLM's ability to run tools over the last couple of years, I think that's a very sensible strategy." Put differently, I think skills are in some ways a different user experience pattern for getting at agent creation. That's really what this is about. On the one hand, you've got the end-to-end style agent workflow builder, but this is basically where you articulate component parts and then can use natural language to help the LLM itself figure out which of those parts it needs to put together. Again, in Simon's example, he's got a skill for parsing census data, a skill for loading data, a skill for publishing data online, and a skill for figuring out an interesting story. Instead of having to put them together in a step-by-step workflow schematic, He can just make sure that each individual piece has all of the context it needs, and then the LLM can figure out how to put it together, which strikes me, if it works, as a much more intuitive way to organize this than some of those other interfaces. There's going to be a ton of examples, I think, coming up. And like I said, I'm planning on maybe an operator's cut style episode where we get into some ways to actually use Claude Skills. But for now, we've got a lot to cover. So let's move on to Microsoft, who wants to make every PC an AI PC with a big new update to Windows 11. Now, on the surface, this is an update about bringing Copilot to all users and making it more central to the Windows experience. Users can now summon the AI assistant by saying, "Hey, Copilot." They're also rolling out Copilot Vision, which allows the AI model to see what's happening on the desktop and use it as input. In addition, agentic features will be introduced as early previews. Those agentic features will allow Copilot to tap into data from emails, calendars, and the Office suite, as well as taking actions in the file system itself. The biggest difference from previous AI releases is that none of these features will be restricted to Copilot plus hardware. They will just be a default part of the Windows 11 experience for all users. Executive VP and Consumer Chief Marketing Officer Youssef Mehdi explained, "We think we're on the cusp of the next evolution, where AI happens not just in a chatbot and gets naturally integrated into the hundreds of millions of experiences that people use every day. The vision that we have is, let's rewrite the entire operating system around AI and build essentially what becomes truly the AI PC. The rewrite is built around two main features, agentics and voice." Mehdi said, "You should be able to talk to your PC, have it understand you, and then be able to have magic happen from that. With your permission, we want people to be able to share with their AI on Windows what they're doing and what they're seeing. The PC should be able to act on your behalf." He added, "In our minds, voice will now become the third input mechanism to use with your PC. It doesn't replace the keyboard and mouse necessarily, but it's an added thing and it will be pretty profound and a new way to do it." They also have a new feature coming called Copilot Actions, which is sort of similar to OpenAI's Operator or Google's new Gemini Enterprise. The feature spins up a new window where the users can give directions and watch the agent complete tasks using local files. They can either monitor the agent and take over at any time, or click away to a different window and let the agent run in the background. Now, as I've said before, despite what seem like some stumbles and missteps, Microsoft has an incredible distribution network and serious benefits when it comes to consumer installs. And this is a great example of how owning the entire end-to-end experience could be a game changer when it comes to how much value you can unlock for a particular user. Moving over to IP land, Spotify has reached a deal with the major music labels on how AI will intersect with the music industry. Spotify will collaborate with Sony, Universal, Warner, Merlin, and Believe to, quote, develop responsible AI products that empower the artists and songwriters they represent and connect them with the fans who support them. In a press release, Spotify wrote, "Some voices in the tech industry believe copyright should be abolished. We don't. Musicians' rights matter. Copyright is essential. If the music industry doesn't lead in this moment, AI-powered innovation will happen elsewhere without rights, consent, or compensation." Now, the announcement didn't discuss any specific products, but it did reinforce that the introduction of AI features would fundamentally be the choice of rights holders and artists. They're also aiming to build AI products that create wholly new revenue streams and want to ensure that rights holders are properly compensated and credited appropriately. A lot of the coverage was extremely skeptical. Spotify has recently been criticized for allowing low-effort AI tracks to proliferate, leading to a purge of 75 million AI-generated tracks in September, but others are willing to give the benefit of the doubt. Ed Newton-Rex, the CEO of copyright advocacy group Fairly Trained, posted, "In my opinion, it's a good thing that Spotify is working on AI music tools with the major labels. Lots of the AI industry is exploitative. AI built on people's work without permission, served up to users who get no say in the matter. This sounds like it will be different. AI features built fairly with artist permission, presented to fans as a voluntary add-on, rather than an inescapable funnel of AI slop. To be clear, Spotify's general stance on AI music is not good. They seem happy to allow AI slop on the platform without labeling it, even featuring it in recommended playlists. This needs to change. But credit where it's due. Licensing music for training instead of taking it without permission is very welcome. The devil will be in the details, but in tone at least, this is a positive development." Now, that might not sound all that positive to you, but given how absolutely contentious the relationship is between the AI and anti-AI crowd, that is not just a fig leaf, that's a fig tree. Whether Oracle can actually pull off that line remains to be seen, but I think that they are in a good position to give it a shot. A couple quick product updates. General purpose agent Manus has been updated for version 1.5. The team wrote faster, better quality results, unlimited context, build full stack web apps with real AI features, backends, user logins, custom domains, and analytics. Run your biz, start your side hustle, or just have fun. If you can dream it, Manus can build it. Manus claimed that tasks are now 4 times faster on average, and the performance boost should allow tasks that once failed to be completed successfully. Manus's internal benchmark showed a 15% improvement in task quality and a 6% increase in user satisfaction. The big new feature is the ability to build web apps end-to-end without leaving Manus, making the agent more useful as a vibe coding platform. Kind of seems like ultimately everything, even the general purpose agents, are a vibe coding platform in the end. Another small but potentially powerful feature announcement: agent orchestration startup Lindy has announced an AI chief marketing officer for your company. CEO Flo Crivello wrote, announcing Lindy AI CMO, a team of agents running entire marketing workflows end-to-end, handling market research, analysis, and creative at scale, so you can start thousands of ad experiments in minutes. As part of this, we're launching new integrations with Sora 2, VO 3.1, Nano Banana, and GPT Image Gen. Over the last few years, agents have grown tremendously in their scope and autonomy, going from handling simple tasks to assuming entire roles. This will be the first time that we see them take a chunk out of an entire org. I'm considering trying this out as CMO of AIDB, given that, as I've mentioned, I'm hiring for some growth roles. If that's an experiment that you would be interested in following along with, let me know and we'll see what can happen. Lastly, I am continuing to do our ROI corner, ROI shoutouts. ROI is going to be a major theme for next year. And so when we see companies reporting actual ROI from AI, you are going to get it here. The latest comes from Alibaba, who have announced that they've reached break-even on AI in their e-commerce business. In February of this year, the Chinese tech giant announced they would spend $53 billion on AI over the next 3 years. They've since rolled out a string of features, including personalized AI search and virtual clothing try-ons. Now, a company official has announced that preliminary testing of their AI features has shown consistent results, including a 12% increase in return on advertising spend. VP Kai-Fu Zhang said it's very rare to see double-digit changes. Zhang predicted that AI would have a, quote, very significant positive impact on sales during this year's Singles' Day shopping period, which centers around November 11th. Meanwhile, I would anticipate that in the US, we're going to see a bit of an AI-focused Black Friday as well. But it's not even Halloween yet. We still have a little time before that. And so with that, we will wrap today's headlines. Next up, the main episode.